Episode number 3, starting renovation with no permit. So, as a continuation, so now I have acquired the property. So now I had to start doing renovations. The challenge that you're going to have with when you are going to, let's say, locations, especially if you're brand new, um, when you're doing a real estate investing, is that if you never had an experience in a particular location, you're always going to have a problem finding a contractors, and that has always been the case when you're going outside your a comfort zone, right? I'm from Toronto, so all my boots on the ground is always gonna be, all my contacts is always gonna be in a Toronto, like where if I need a contractor, handyman, plumber, electricians, you name it, I can have it just like that here in the city within the Toronto. So so this was my first time going outside Toronto, which is a 1 hour east of Toronto. So I don't have a boots on the ground yet. I thought I could handle it without, you know, um, a contact, right? So because I've always been relying on my contractor here, my Toronto contractor. So in a short story, now I have gotten the property. I contacted my guys from Toronto, and I started doing a renovation. So like we gone through the codes. I gave him all the drawings, designs of what I wanted on the property, what I have of what I want done, right? So I hired them to do the work. Now, the problem sometimes with a local contractor, especially if they're from the city, especially here in Toronto, um, you and I know that when we do constructions here within the city, that like usually we don't go through a permit, right? Because in a Toronto, if you were to do a basement, for example, um, about 90% of the time, your neighbor will not complain about you, right? Because everybody in the city is always going to be busy, right? So they don't have time to snoop around um, on what you're doing on your property. So that's what I would thought. That's what I thought, right? So a short story. I did like renovation without the permit, and I did remember the contractor said, "Listen, if you were to go to a city, it will probably gonna take you about 3 to 6 months just to get the permit and like also to secure a spot, right? So and that has always been the challenge, right? So I made a conscious decision, and I thought it was a right decision for me at the time to go ahead and do renovation without a permit. So yeah, so next thing you know, I was advertising it for rent, but having the experience now going back, I would not recommend it for anybody, um, especially if you're investor, to go through renovations without a permit. I've done many renovations in the past in the city without having to go through a permit, and nothing had happened. But looking back now, going to a different city, I would not recommend anybody to do constructions, renovations without having to go through the process of getting a permit from the city. It's something that it can bite you on your ass. I over anticipate my luck in that city, and like being a minority, especially in a city, right? So I stick up like a sore thumb. So I I had a complaint, or somebody had complained about me, and next thing you know, the city get involved, and I'm gonna tell you what happened next on the next video.